Okay, guys, what do you want to hear first this week? The good news or the bad news? Well, I'm going to decide for you. I'm going to tell you the good news this week. The good news is Syracuse finally looked like a complete team playing against Paul Pasqualoni in Connecticut. By the way, welcome back to Central New York, Paul Pasqualoni. And boy, did the Orange throw you a welcome. We just about blew you and your Huskies right out of the Carrier Dome. What a complete game it was. And by that I mean 251 yards rushing, 251 yards passing. Can't get more equal than that. Plus also the defense, holding Connecticut to minus 6 yards rushing. -6. Pretty interesting there, especially when the one who ran for over 150 yards last year didn't do squat this year, thanks to a suffocating Orange defense. All in all, it was good to see you back in the Dome again, Pasqualoni. But you know, you're with a different team now. A complete 40-10 whooping of the Connecticut Huskies. And hopefully we can keep that complete Orange offense going this week when we travel down to the Tampa area to play South Florida. Because that definitely looks like a winnable game for the Orange. South Florida isn't the big team they were a couple of years ago when they still had the coach before somebody decided to cry foul. So he decided to leave it, if you know what I mean. But what a performance, Cuse. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see. Maybe it's a sign Marone may be starting to get this team in the right direction. Of course, it's been almost a year since we put a whooping on West Virginia. And you see what a whooping Kansas State put on West Virginia. Kansas State's a legit national title contender. Bill Snyder has them cooking. Well, that's the good news. How about the bad news? Just when you think you got the Buffalo Bills figured out, boy, they do it again. I mean, in the first half against Tennessee, they were more giving than, say, the Salvation Army is between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And look at what Chris Johnson did. Boy, did he gash the Bills for 195 yards rushing. We spent all that money on Mario Williams, Mark Anderson, and others to shore up the defense. And boy, does it look like we shored it up? No, we didn't shore it up. Looks like it's eroded. Boy, all giving up all those yards rushing. And also, I mean, the pass defense, especially on that 4th and 9 play, when we could have stepped on Matt Hasselbeck in Tennessee's neck. And we let them score. But I'm not going to do any Dennis Green imitation, because, you know, again, just like against New England, Buffalo will let them off the hook. And, of course, when we had the chance to drive down into Lindell's range, boy, did Fitzpatrick blow it. I'm just wondering about this Bills team. Makes me want to pull my hair out. Oh, wait a minute. See? It's buzzed. 35-34 did we lose to Tennessee. And we got a week off to lick our wounds. Because guess what's next? 2 killer games. First, down in Reliant Stadium, or whatever stadium it's known as now, the Houston Texans. Some people's odds-on favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Because they got a great quarterback with Matt Schaub, a great wide receiver with Andre Johnson, and also Arian Foster. If we couldn't stop Chris Johnson, I shudder to think what the Bills are going to let Arian Foster do. And then after that, to a place that we've never won, Gillette Stadium, and when we play Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the New England Patriots. Speaking of Gillette, I need a shave. Well, enough talking about the bad. But of course, next I'm going to talk about a little more bad. Lance Armstrong bad. I mean, I was one of those who was just hoping that this whole thing was just a big thing by the French, because it seems as though the French don't like the Americans winning their little old baby, meaning the Tour de France. But now the UCI has spoken, and they've upheld the USADA's decision to strip him of his 7 Tour de France titles. As they say, he ran something almost like a cartel with the U.S. Postal Service team, that he conspired to bring in performance-enhancing drugs and all of that. I just don't know what to think about this whole situation. Although, I mean, it really looks like now Armstrong duped me and duped everybody else. Armstrong, I'm pretty proud that you beat cancer. Because, I mean, it started in your private area and it spread to your lungs and your brain. But thanks to the treatments and that, you beat it. But I mean, there's no getting over what supposedly you have done. Even though Miguel Indurain still believes in your innocence. If I were you, Miguel Indurain, I'd be looking over my shoulder. You never know what the WADA might be thinking. Hell, they might be looking at old blood samples and coming after you. But Mr. Armstrong, I just don't know what to think. They've made you a pariah now. If you really did do this, I am very disappointed in you. Although part of me still thinks it's another thing by the French, because they don't like Americans winning their baby. Hell, Floyd Landis was stripped 2 years ago. Of course, the French are pompous asses anyway. And let's get away from talking about Lance Armstrong right now, shall we? Let's talk about the upcoming holiday. But, you know, it's not safe to dress as one thing. Halloween comes up next week. The time when all kids like to get their candy when they say trick or treat. Kids like to dress up, and so do adults. And, of course, this is the time for Halloween parties. But you want to know something? It's not good to dress up as a skunk, especially if you want to go like Pepe Le Pew. Yeah, what is this? Oh, but of course, this one wishes to commit suicide to prove her love for me. What a sweet and wonderful gesture. Nevertheless, I must prevent it. Bad French accent. But the point I'm trying to get at, there was some 9-year-old girl who dressed up as a skunk in a Halloween party. She decided to play hide and seek with her friends. She hid in a bush. When a neighbor came out and saw it, he thought it was a real skunk. So what does he do? Get his shotgun and he shot her. Thankfully, she survived. But I mean, something just really gets me about that. Wouldn't that be a little big to be a skunk? Wouldn't the absence of a strong odor kind of give it away? What was this guy thinking? Of course, what was this girl thinking hiding? You know, if I want to dress up, I'm going to dress up as a football player. Well, of course, I'm 41 years old. I think I'm a little old for dressing up as Halloween. And last but not least, this week, I want to talk about something that seems to be happening in New York State the last few years. Seems as though with the blossoming, or I should say the explosion of Greek-style yogurt, look what's been going on in one of America's best dairy states. New York State has become a center for yogurt production. The Chobani plant down there in New Berlin, the FAGE, I can't really pronounce it, around Johnstown. Those two plants opening up around Batavia. I mean, one of them is a Colombian company, Alpina. Since when did we think about Colombia and yogurt? Of course, you gotta wonder. Well, I mean, we're right in a dairy area here in Seneca County and in the Finger Lakes. How come none of these yogurt plants have come around here? Well, you know, maybe another yogurt manufacturer might still come around the Finger Lakes. Of course, they want to open a cheese factory over near Auburn. Saratoga Cheese, I think, is the company. I mean, they've been delaying it for a couple of years now. Come on, guys, get it built. Of course, you gotta wonder about all the dairy cows. Do you think they like all these yogurt plants being around here? I don't know. Well, enough about mooing, shall we? I'm Ken Haas. That's my story for this week. And see you later.